welcome back. And we're moving into our second conversation for today as we are joined by a panel who will be telling us about a special toolkit for artists, how to export your art. And in this case, we're talking music. We have with us on set James Sanker, who is the Vice President of MIAB, the Music Industry Association of Belize. We have in the middle Nicole Zatina, who's the Research Analyst for Export Belize, which is a unit at Beltrade. And the one and only on the end, we should need to give you an introduction, Sam Harris.
Sam Harris.
Good morning and welcome.
Welcome, guys. Once again, it's so nice to have you in. We know the importance, of course, of a conversation like this because most of us love to sing, we love to do what we do, but at the same time, we want to know how can we actually get it out? You know, in this morning, in mentioning the topic, it's something that would eventually strike the public as to what's the conversation going to be like. So, Export Belize, tell us about it.
Okay, so the Artist Export Toolkit, we want to enlighten artists that you're no longer singing for pleasure. This is a business. So you have to take your craft as a business, and in doing so, there are certain steps that you have to follow. You have to take it as a professional. So the Artist Export Toolkit is based around that.
Oh.
Now, obviously, I would imagine as a part of Beltrade, you work very often with businesses that have products.
Correct.
And also now some that have services.
Correct.
How do you get musicians or artists to see themselves as entrepreneurs producing a service?
It has been a challenge, I will say that.
Yeah.
But we're trying. We see the potential in music. We have interest from Central America, from the Caribbean, and so we are trying to enlighten artists about these opportunities. So many festivals are out there.
Yeah.
So many agents are interested in something different. And Belize do have a unique song. We do. And so it's working very hard trying to get them to come to workshops. However, we have to understand that musicians are a different dynamic. They're a different set of people.
Yeah.
They're artists. So we're still learning how to work with them, what setting works best for them.
Yes. You know what?
I was saying this the other day. I think anybody who knows a basic understanding of brain development, if you're a creative person, you're not great with numbers. If you're a numbers person, the creative side is it's not impossible. It's just two different strengths.
Yeah.
So when you ask an artist who's naturally a creative to look at numbers and to be able to talk about the business side of things, it's a challenge.
It
because they
is.
really want to express themselves. And I want to give the opportunity to give James and Sam a chance to feed in on this. How have you been able to work on building your business behind your music?
Well, it's a funny thing. Music in its own term, we work with numbers.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, if you write a song, it has a schedule. You know, there's a format that you
There's
go
a
by.
rhythm.
So the business side of it is known probably where to find those points. I remember one time as a songwriter told me, said, no, I tell you what you do. You worry about writing the songs and doing everything else, and we'll take care of that business side of it, because it's strenuous in the sense, you know, because we have an idea where that the numbers are and where they should be, but they're splitting the brains in two sections like that. It makes it a little bit more difficult. So we basically concentrate more on the writing and let somebody else take the headache on dealing with the other part of it, those numbers part of it. But the numbers are there, you know. You have an idea where
You have to.
And for you, Jim?
The thing is, just like any other business, it takes a team,
That's
right? So you need somebody to do the numbers,
Yeah.
and you need somebody doing the creative, you need some people doing the marketing, and so you find successful artists that makes the millions. They have a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have professional people around them that actually make that product viable.
You know, but you know, and I'm looking at this Artist Export Toolkit. It sums up to my mind, because in many of the conversations you'll hear that the reason I don't sing, or the reason I don't really care about it, is because Belize's population does not support the fact that I'm a musician. They won't buy my CD. They don't even listen to our CD. As a matter of fact, we'll go as far as to say, you know what, the radio stations don't even play the music because they're just Belizean artists. They're right, their arms reach. Why do it? Do you guys believe that the population is what puts us in that hole?
Well, yeah, there's a mix of how people learn to appreciate music, that our media doesn't portray our music as that value set, and so the listeners then value it because it's not being played, or other music is being played at a different level, and so people says, oh, those music must be better because that's what everybody's playing.
And also because it's foreign.
Right, because it's foreign. Right. So, but when you look at music, while it's very important to look at your local environment, I mean, it's very important to look at your, but export, you have to look at the entire world.
Yeah.
Today, in today's world, if you just look at just where you are, especially with music, music is not sold just locally. As a matter of fact, music is not sold on that CD that you talk about. As a matter of fact, it's not even a download anymore. Download is basically going away, right? It's done on streaming.
Really?
Yeah, it's on streaming,
Yeah.
right? So if you're not digitizing your stuff to stream, then you're not there. And that's why the toolkit is very important because in order to then navigate those particular streaming applications, you need to have some contracts every single time.
And that's what I mean. I love the formalization of what's included in your toolkit. It kind of gives you a template as to what you can work with.
Correct.
But one of the first things I would imagine would be a challenge is just pricing yourself. You know, my countless nights of sleep, and people have different creative processes. Sometimes it's a lengthy one, and sometimes it's just inspiration hits you and you put in all that work at once.
Correct.
But how do you value it?
One of the things that you mentioned a minute ago is that I think in Belize we look at the population, and it did happen to me too. When I 350, how much? 350,000
Yes,
people.
almost.
And I'm saying, well, if you have to sell 300, divide it in thirds, and a third probably would, or maybe less than a third, would buy the CDs. What I'm hoping for is that we learn how to appreciate the creative side of the artist, what you create, how to learn how to appreciate that. Because if I look at, if you go to Trinidad or you go to Jamaica and you take a 3-chord structure and come up with a song, and you hear it, you get bombarded with it in Belize, people, they gravitate to it. But they're looking at something on that mentality, that copy mentality. You know, they're not thinking, well, hey, somebody had to create this. So when they listen to a Belizean artist creating something, they don't vision creativity into it. It's just one of the next Belizean song they might. So but it sounds bad, but maybe the best thing for us to do is to explore the stuff and bring it back. And a good example was one time with God rest the dead Andy.
Yeah. I have said,
to this day I'm still shocked that when we were somewhere Brody's parking lot or something, I couldn't believe
When it came
that
back.
we had to
when
go
he came
out.
back.
It came back.
Go
Yeah.
out.
When it came
Make
back.
a name for yourself and came back. To this day I still see the vision.
Yeah.
I see, even
that
with
was a
Sam.
beautiful concert.
Even with Sam,
You know.
his music is played in Guatemala
Mexico more than
World
in
Culture Band.
more than here.
Yes.
I do want to say, Marlene, you mentioned pricing. How do you price yourself as an artist? I will say that
Good question.
Export Belize does capacity building, and one of our trainings that we do is the business model, a business model canvas. So artists feel free to contact us. We do these trainings periodically, and it's basically to teach you, this is how you set up your business as an artist. This is what you make. This is how much you should be gaining, how much profit you should be gaining. And with this toolkit shows that you're serious. So people might not want to pay you what you're pricing yourself, what you're asking for. But if you have a contract, they take you more seriously, and it's a way to say, you know, this person is professional, I have to abide by this contract. And that's a way to get a jump start in it.
Let me tap into this, you know, because that's a very important point, and that's a conversation myself along with Marlene would always be talking about in terms of how do you price yourself.
Right.
An artist is an entertainer.
Correct.
An MC is also an entertainer because that's what you have to do.
Right.
Does this apply to them as well?
Yes. So in the press kit, it have a rider
Yeah.
where basically shows you how to price your live performance.
Yeah.
What are the things that you have to add in this pricing in order to come up with a final price that you give to a client? Travel, rental equipment. I mean, every single
Travel
step of
comes
the
with
way. So there's
insurance as well because things
all of that.
happen when
So
you're out
if
there.
you go in the press kit, now you could actually, for the artists that don't know how to do it properly, they can just go in the toolkit and actually download those particular things and see how to do it. If you're having a performance, there should be a contract between you and the person.
Yeah, you and the client.
You and the
That's
client.
right,
Yeah.
Yes.
So where's that contract? Well, here we have a
Yeah.
we have a template now that you could basically just
And you
download
just fill in the
and just fill in the
requirements.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I like this because it serves a purpose for both sides. One, people are fearful that an artist says, well, you know, I don't feel like it's somebody get me mad. They, you know, they take long to pay the deposit. I know going.
Right.
And we've seen where no shows have happened at concerts before. But when you establish this contract, it also means that if I'm the artist, I have to be serious
have-
about my
Exactly.
business as
You'll have
well.
to also.
Now, how do you, I mean, is that a challenge in the industry to get people to see the professionalism behind it as well?
It is. For me, it's a challenge because the thing about it is that I once remember getting a contract from one of the larger entities here. When I read the contract, I was smiling. I said, man, this is real good. I could tell it's a musical attorney that wrote
That's
this
it,
contract
yeah.
for them. And in turn, that gave me the opportunity to send mine to them because if you're coming to the table, you expect me to be a professional, then you know that you have to actually look at my contract too,
Yeah. Of
course.
and look at it and say yes, here we go. So I'm bringing my best to you, and I expect in return that same thing. If you say that I have to be this way, carry myself in this way, then I have my contract will dictate
Yeah.
to you how I work. One of the things is that I don't have to really tell you verbally because the contract actually dictates and tell you exactly what it is, what I expect, what I'm given in return. And if we get an understanding between each other, then it becomes easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
And
but,
there's nothing like having it on paper, because while a
That's
verbal
it.
agreement is valid, it can always be disputed.
It's
course.
always,
Of course.
and it's always become a punishment in the
Yeah.
sense because people sometimes wait
Yeah.
to the last minute to say, well, hey, no, I changed my mind.
Yeah.
Wait.
Vice versa, just with the artist, you can't. Once you sign
Once
the
you've
contract,
signed
you
that
agree
contract,
on it.
you have to
It's
perform.
fine.
One of the things that
Detail of the contract, and it includes things like, this is so important, your technical writer. You know, if I'm going to go do a performance, I need to ensure you have equipment that will not ruin my brand.
Correct.
Because you go there and the mics don't work, the speakers don't work, the
Good point.
feedback is bad, the acoustics is bad, you know, and
they didn't give you water.
even that.
You need to have these things.
Even
important.
that. Yeah.
Even that.
Well, we're
Right.
not talking about one specific color M&Ms. Like,
Right, I
It's on the very basics. Because if I do
Basic
one
stuff.
bad performance, I always remember working
see.
with an artist. He said, listen, if I go somewhere and I sound terrible, that's it. That could be the end of my career.
Exactly.
And that has nothing to do with my voice. It has to
Yeah.
do with your audio.
Yeah.
So that's also something that artists have to look at.
Oh, yeah,
You're
Sam.
so right. You're so right because what happened is that people doesn't understand that if you go to perform,
Yeah.
the only thing you have in mind is that you, whenever you get up there, you do your best because that's what you rehearse to do.
Yeah.
But your sound equipment has to be complementary to what you're doing too, even your lighting.
Yeah.
We don't hear. I hear people always say, "Why everybody, you know, going that Lecon right there?" No, not on my contract. It doesn't say that. The point is that if you expect me to do good work, then I expect for you to produce good sound too.
Yeah.
Even monitors. I hear people here that could really sing. I mean, exceptional good singers, but singing off tune because there's no monitor in front of them.
In front of them.
It's
Yeah.
on the side, Phil, and they're getting 1/8 of a second later than so they 1/8 of a second build up, and then you listen to it. But some of them are so
And they're
good they
off.
catch up real quick. But it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Just get the right stuff to work with, and you don't need a loud blasting thing that will break your eardrum, but something that is audible and clarity.
It's
that
a
But this
tools
could also
that
be
you need.
yes, but this could also be a part of the toolkit, a
Yes.
part of your contract as well,
Yes, it's in
whereby
there.
It's in
if
there.
you're getting
Right.
if you're they're actually booking you, Sam, or they're booking you, Mr. Sankar, and they say, you know what, in your contract, would you put that I'm bringing my own equipment so I could provide you the sound, or is it
Yes.
the part of the
It-
business, and can that be in the toolkit?
Yes.
I like that you asked that because these
writer said.
contracts aren't solid. They're a sample.
Yeah.
But the artists have to look it over and see what works for him or her.
Personalize them.
So it can be tweaked according to
Of course.
you as an artist, but it just gives you a guideline. And it gives you also visa requirements because a lot of people want to travel, they don't know how to do so.
Yeah,
So
we've
that's
seen
a
the
step.
struggles
Yeah.
that have taken place as well with
Correct.
artists trying to travel on tourist visas.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we have seen that.
But I want to come back to this is an interesting
Very.
decision in terms of how you decided to go. A lot of times people are doing workshops, tell artists, you need to do X, Y, and Z, but what you've given people is a template.
Correct.
And if you've done anything that you're not accustomed to doing, a template is great because you know where to start, you know what to include.
Correct.
Why was this the better decision? Was it because having the conversation wasn't producing the results you wanted?
Well, I think it was just, we don't want to say, Beltrade says this is the way you have to do it, this is solid, this is in writing. I mean, these things are, you have to deal with lawyers and ensure that it's really solid, everything there. You can actually take that to court if possible. So it's just us giving them an idea of, hey, we know that you've been trying, we know it's hard in Belize, but we want to see you progress. We want to see the industry progress. So this is a jump start to get that done, to do so.
I think this is one of the best things to ever to hit us for artists, for entertainers on a whole. Now, how can people sign up? What do people have to do to become a part of this?
Well, we launched the Artist Toolkit officially this Friday. I think about 10 a.m.
Yeah.
more or so. In the morning, we're going to launch it on our website. It's going to be under the Export Belize portal. Also, we'll be sharing this toolkit. It's downloadable as well, so an artist can download it from the website. We're also going to be sharing it to our music stakeholders and sending an email blast to a list of artists that we have.
Excellent. And it's a workable document. People can be able to
Yes.
change it to
So
what
it's
they
a
need.
PDF. It's a PDF document, but it's fillable.
Okay.
So you could go and tweak things as it works for you.
Excellent. What are we seeing in the music industry in terms of, because an artist now may say, okay, great, I'm going to become more of a professional, I'm going to put together a contract, send it into the business, and on the other side, people are kind of used to the verbal agreements, like, you come play it for me, I'll pay you this much, and they don't want to sign on to a contract. What are we finding people becoming more accepting of this professional aspect of artists?
Yes, I used to send out contracts, I send out contracts all the time.
Yeah.
But I used to get some people that says, oh, we don't need a contract, man, right? And I would send it back to them. I says, well, if we don't need a contract, can I say anything, or it would be anything that goes wrong, I will still get paid, right? No, then it says no. I says, well, okay, but that's
Well,
why
so
we
the
need a
contract
contract.
you need, yes.
That's why we need a contract.
recently had
We need
a
a contract, and
workshop.
so we had people now are signing up for
We
a
had a
contract.
workshop with some artists, and the question was, do you guys have contracts? And this is just a jump start. These aren't the only contracts, but we're starting with this. So as time progresses, we're going to be including more. And we asked, do you guys have contracts? Yes. Are you utilizing them? No. So we want to push that it is very important if you want to progress as an artist, if you want to see this industry move forward, take it as a business. It's very, very important for them to see their craft as a business.
Yeah.
It's
But
a service.
But do artists or entertainers, do they have to sign up with Beltrade?
No,
they download.
no.
Okay. So you just
Download the
download and
file.
you present to your client,
Correct.
and that's it.
Yeah, that's
Correct.
it. That's it. Thing down. One of the ones that we have in here that we would like artists to apply is that when you walk into a studio, because they all walk into a studio and they make a song together, and there's no contract between the people that actually work on this song. So we have one in there for song. There's a songwriter partnership agreement that I would like artists that are listening out there, when you walk into a studio, and I'm saying it over and over.
Before you start to sing.
Before you start
right?
to sing, before the person said, right, or just hump on it or whatever, sign the contract. Because we don't have any problem so far because nobody is making $1 million. But I tell all the artists then, when you go in and you sing over somebody's beat, that person owns half of the song.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right? The person that built the beat for it, half of
And
the
if
song.
there's no contract,
And if
then
there's no
you can
contract,
dispute over
yeah, that person that says,
who's
well, I want the whole
contributing
thing.
most to this hit.
Right, I want the whole thing. So,
Mixing then, you see, it becomes a mechanical right.
Yeah.
So to safeguard, the whole entity, if it's a group of us, to safeguard that everybody has a percentage in this stuff, is that if you know what your actual contract says, then you don't have disputes after that, because you might be there dormant until one day somebody picks it up and it becomes an entity, and you have a conflict,
So you see, and these are just a few people that could be on the contract. It's not only the copyright ownership and the publisher and the songwriters.
Yeah.
There might be other stakeholders
Yeah.
in putting together the music. There might be a record
Even
label.
here.
There might be different things, different people that actually owns portion of that song. None of them are.
And you can choose what percentages go where.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do. Yes.
Even the co-publishing agreement, because some people are ghostwriters. You might write a song and just sell that to somebody.
Yeah.
But there's a contract saying I get a percentage as well.
Yeah.
So that's something that's also in the toolkit that artists can utilize.
And
Excellent.
it's really just, I think it's being able to focus with the most optimistic view. You have a massive hit. You don't want to be trying to work out who gets what afterwards.
Correct.
So it's better you
know
are
before.
optimistic about the work you're about to create
Yes.
and put that in place
Yeah. Correct.
before.
Right. So what I'm telling people that have these studios, that people working, download the thing, have it there available, and says, guys, when you're working, just sign your percentage
your
there,
percentage,
yeah.
right there. Now we'll put that behind me, and then we go and
And
do
we
it.
continue on.
Yeah, then
Awesome.
we continue on. That's it.
It's a win-win situation there. You know exactly what your share, you know exactly what your percentage is, then why not,
Right.
Excellent,
Exactly.
excellent.
So, as of Friday, it will be downloadable on Beltrade's website under
And that's
Export Belize.
Correct. That's www.belizeinvest.org.bz.
And you can modify it to exactly what you want it to be, but the wording and the sample of the contract and the agreements are already there.
Yes.
I think this is such a great idea to really help
Yes.
artists to move to that professional level. And I know that, this isn't something that people haven't tried to work on before about getting artists to become more business minded, but this really is a great tool. So kudos to you all
Thank
on being
you.
able to put it together. And if you are an artist, it's better to be safe and have everything worked out ahead of time. Be sure to log on or contact Beltrade so that you can get a copy as well.
Excellent.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for inviting us.
We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll be talking to volleyball players about an upcoming beach volleyball competition. So stay tuned.